This short film is Opium of My Heart, presented by Opium Inc. Scene 1, in Miss Kupskaya's art class after lunch.
Alright, George, so you take this face and then you add the shade. It offers depth to the painting or the drawing, but...
Sorry I'm late, Miss Kupskaya.
Why are you late?
I have a pass, don't worry about it.
Mr. Lincoln, oh my God, call the nurse. Wake up, get the nurse now! Okay.
Scene 2, Angela's drug trip in the Emperor's Palace in China.
Get up, you're in the Emperor's garden.
Who's the Emperor? Where am I?
That will be me. We do not have time for this. We have to prepare the treaty.
What treaty?
The Treaty of Nanjing,
What time period am I in?
1842.
Yeah, China. Yeah, China, man.
So you see, this is our treaty, and this is how we plan to take down the opium crisis. Do you understand what I'm saying now?
Yes, so how did this lead into opium?
Well, since the British East India Trading Company had a monopoly of trade around Asia, the opium plant from India made its way to China in exchange for silver and various goods.
Okay, but why did they let opium come into the country? You saw that gardener outside. He's totally out of his gourd.
You see, in 1839, the emperor, me, decided not to take action in legalizing the opium trade, so this led to a mass exploitation of opium, which made Viceroy Lin Zexu abolish the trade and confiscate 1,210 pounds of opium.
Oh my God, so why do you need me?
Well, since we kicked out many foreign traders, this has led to an uproar with the English and a seizure of naval gunnery. The English attacked us. Since we have control of what comes in and out of our ports, the English Empire wants to make a trade-off that will allow the West to have some access into our ports in Hong Kong.
What's the treaty for?
We plan to open 5 ports to satisfy the English and let them have access to Hong Kong.
No. This will trigger another war.
Silence, you addict.
No, I see a vision. 1856 to 1860 will mark the Second Opium War.
Oh no!
Going.
The 1850s will see a vast expansion of the West into China.
Preposterous.
Wait, so what's going on?
Haley.
The Treaty of Nanjing! Bloopers!
Ooh, that's pretty good. Ooh.
The characters include Krupskaya and the Emperor, who were both played by Ava Colhane, Gardner and George, who were played by Kevin McCauley, Christopher and Commissioner Lynn were both played by Kevin Farmer, and Angela by Haley Ridenauer. We would like to give a big thanks to Miss Halo for teaching us the importance in U.S. history and for making it fun, and simply for being an awesome teacher. And thanks to all of the 4th hour, you are all very fun people to be around. Well, most of you. Thanks for a great year. Thanks for watching.
Well, I didn't see you there. The movie isn't over yet.
In the middle of the 19th century, the rising British Empire and the waning Chinese Empire went to war over drug addiction. In a sense, the two powerful countries took turns as drug pusher and addict. The first, the British were addicted to stimulating Chinese tea, which resulted in trade imbalance because the Chinese brought few European products and demanded silver and gold in return. Because of this wealth-sucking trade deficit, British merchants looked in vain for many years for some commodity that the Chinese would buy, until they finally found their answer, in Indian opium, from the province of Bengal. By the middle of the 19th century, thanks to Chinese addiction to Indian opium, silver flowed in surlops back into Britain. This greatly increased British prosperity and helped pay for the cost of running a colony in India. In short, much of the British imperial success in the 19th century was based on hooking more and more Chinese to an extremely dangerous and addictive recreational drug. 1838, a Chinese official described the opium transformation throughout society. At the beginning, opium smoking was confined to the fops of wealthy families who took up the habit as a form of conspicuous consumption. Even they knew that they should not indulge in it to the greatest extreme. Later, people of all social strata, from government officials and members of the gentry to craftsmen, merchants, entertainers, and servants, and even women, Buddhist monks and nuns and Taoist priests took up the habit and openly bought and equipped themselves with smoking instruments, even in the center of our dynasty, the nation's capital, and its surrounding areas. Some of the inhabitants who have also contaminated by this dreadful poison. Finally, the Emperor Manchu dynasty decided to stamp out opium once and for all. The imperial court understood that the trade debilitated their people and weakened their economy. One Chinese official commented that they were faced with a life-destroying drug threatening to degrade the entire Chinese people to a level of reptiles, dog, and swine. Still, some Chinese officials wanted to legalize opium in order to tax it and trade it directly for tea so that silver wealth would not leave the country. But the emperor would have none of it. Instead, in 1838, he appointed a high commissioner to extirpate opium by arresting opium addicts, dealers, growers, and merchants. The emperor wrote a letter to Queen Victoria of England. There is a class of evil foreigner that makes opium and brings it for sale, tempting fools to betray themselves merely in order to reap profit. Formerly, the number of opium smugglers was small, but now the vice has spread far and wide, and the poison penetrated deeper. We have decided to inflict very severe penalties on opium dealers and opium smokers. This poisonous article is manufactured by certain devilish persons in places subject to your rule. What is here forbidden to consume, your dependencies must be forbidden to manufacture. What that is done, not only will the Chinese be rid of this evil, but your people will be safe. The queen did not reply, which did not bode well for the emperor's plan. Commissioner Lin then confiscated opium in Canton and destroyed it, which quickly spiraled into a conflict between the British and Chinese governments. Without permission or authority from his government, this official took it upon himself to promise British opium merchants that the British government would ensure the value of all the opium that the Chinese government confiscated. Suddenly, the British government was on the hook for the cost of a lot of illegal opium. The commissioner also demanded that the British opium traders sign a bond promising on penalty of death not to bring any more opium to China. The British official refused to comply, so the foreigners were asked to leave China for good.
That is the end. I hope you all have an amazing summer.